Matthew Burton of Dagsboro, Delaware, has another 8 months before he will be tried on first-degree rape and murder charges for the death of Nicole Bennett. This is all because of his trial was recently postponed again from April until October. By the time this case goes to trial, more than 4 years will have passed since Nicole was killed, and her family admits this latest news is discouraging. They're simply fed up, waiting for justice. In an exclusive update to this story, Nicole's parents speak for the first time to the media. They choose to open up about their grief and frustration with 47 ABC.
Brings back memories.
Yeah. Margaret and Steve Reiser admit talking about their daughter Nicole is still very difficult.
Sometimes my mind goes there, about how it happened.
Yeah, exactly. You think,
and I just shut it down because what good is it going to do me,
The way she was, I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. It's tough.
Nicole disappeared on June 14th, 2012. She was working late that night at Bayshore Community Church in Millsboro, Delaware. That next morning, the family got the terrible news. Nicole's body dumped on the side of this dirt road in Worcester County, Maryland, the victim of a brutal murder.
Life is so cruel.
It's not fair. I mean, to take her and she has these 3 little girls, At first, I felt so sorry for myself. And I got to thinking, I was like, but there's these 3 little girls that lost their mother. Why am I feeling sorry for myself when they're the ones that are really suffering?
Nearly 4 years have passed since this terrible tragedy, and they admit now they are definitely in a better place emotionally.
There you go.
Okay, right here.
Will you lay it down?
Put it there for you. Okay.
Okay, it's Grandpa's turn now.
The Reisers reached out to 47 ABC about speaking out after we interviewed the Bennett family last year. And what's clear from spending time with this family
You're welcome.
is that the depth of their pain helps you to understand their strength.
You won, Ellie.
Way to go, Allie.
Tell me about Nicole. If you had to explain to the folks here, the person she was, not just the person she was before she passed, but the person she was growing up, what was Nicole like?
She was kind of a drama person. She was our oldest. She was our oldest, of course, and she got hurt. You knew she got hurt. She was quite loud. It was monumental when she got hurt. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. And in school, of course, her big thing was drama.
Yeah,
plays
she
and
did 1-acts, and she loved that kind of thing. And the
singing,
plays.
she loved to sing.
Yeah.
Nicole grew up with 2 younger siblings, Emily and Craig.
Were they close?
Very, very close.
Nicole's death isn't the first time the Reiser family experienced incredible loss. In 2003, their younger daughter, Emily, was severely injured when a tractor-trailer crashed into the car she was driving. That was January 11th, her 24th birthday.
To Emily, I think what happened, she got hit in the side and hit her head really, really hard on the top of the doorpost, I think. And it was tough because she laid in the hospital there for, a day and a half. She was an organ donor, and there was no brainwave activity, so.
You just had to make that difficult decision.
It's tough.
In order to work through the grief of losing Emily, they joined a support network called Compassionate Friends, and that same support group is helping them cope with Nicole's death.
It's a group for parents that have lost a child.
We lean on one another. We talk. We always get together and we explain what happened to our own kids, and that helps.
The Reisers live in Nebraska, but they travel a number of times a year, mostly around the holidays, to spend time with their 3 granddaughters in Millsboro, Delaware.
What is it like for you around these very familial times of the year?
It's hard. You have a lot of memories, what it was like when they were here with you. it's always in the back of your mind, and you just never forget that.
How important is it that you spend time with the girls?
It's very important.
Well, I'm trying to get you.
Oh, you have to get me?
Lauren, Emily, and Allie. In the nearly 4 years since their mother passed, they've grown. The eldest, now in high school, just completed a mission trip to Jamaica. Little Allie is getting ready for kindergarten. Both Lauren and Emily continue to excel at school, pursue sports, and music.
What are you playing?
Drums.
You're playing the drums? That's new.
And I play that for band at my school too.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. So your sister's playing the piano now, well, the keyboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys can start a band?
Yeah.
Is that...
It's just amazing how far those girls have come in this time, you know, how much they've grown. Nicole would be so happy. She would be very proud of them, and I'm sure she is very proud of them.
And although much of our conversation that day in November was about the family, Margaret and Steve also shared their concerns over the upcoming murder trial. They admit that they are terrified about the details they might hear, and we spoke at length about their disappointment over court delays. And of course, tomorrow night, in part 2 of this exclusive report, we will tell you how they're preparing for what lies ahead. Barring any further delays, in about 8 months, the family of Nicole Bennett will face her alleged killer in court. Now, they're hoping the end of this criminal trial will finally close this painful chapter in their lives. But in their exclusive interview with 47 ABC, Nicole's parents admit they are understandably worried about what lies ahead.
We're dreading it.
We just don't know what to expect.
Margaret and Steve Reiser believe they will be subpoenaed to testify at the trial of Matthew Burton. Their daughter's accused killer faces first-degree murder and rape charges. The Reisers say attorneys let them know they are required to be there, but they are not sure what part they might be playing in these proceedings. Another uncertainty? Whether or not they are emotionally prepared for the evidence and graphic details that will be coming out in court.
That will be the toughest part of this, to bring everything back. I mean, I'm sure they'll go through all the photos and all that stuff. You know, we don't know what we're going to be in for. You know, do we have to endure all that? Are they going to make us see all that? I don't know.
Despite their uneasiness, Margaret and Steve say they are done with waiting.
But it's been over 3 years. It's just forever. It seemed like, I don't know, the system kind of stinks, in my book, the way they're dragging this out.
The trial of 32-year-old Matthew Burton is now scheduled for October, and this coming June 14th marks 4 years since the day Nicole disappeared. It was on that day in 2012 that Nicole was working late at Bayshore Community Church in Millsboro, Delaware. She never came home that night. The next morning, her husband Kevin reported her missing. It was just hours later that investigators found Nicole's body abandoned about 5 miles away from the church in this wooded area of Swamp Road in Worcester County. Investigators interviewed a number of church employees, including Burton, a custodian who was working the night Nicole went missing. It would be nearly 3 weeks later, on July 6th, that officers would track down and arrest Matthew Burton near Rehoboth Beach. Detectives reportedly determined that DNA evidence linked him to the alleged rape and murder. Since Nicole's body was discovered just over the state line in Maryland, they extradited Burton in August 2012 to be tried in Worcester County. After a year, Delaware decided to take back the case, citing evidence that the rape and murder allegedly happened in the first state. But Burton's lawyers filed a number of appeals to prevent this move, successfully delaying extradition back to Delaware for another year and a half. He was officially back in Georgetown in February 2015, and it looked like Burton's trial date would take place in April 2016. But as we now know, that date was postponed another 6 months. Nicole's family members tell us the state prosecutors working on this case will not tell them why the trial has been pushed back. 47 ABC called both the Delaware Attorney General's office and Burton's attorney, John Gary, and neither would give us a reason for this latest delay.
Would you like to talk to the lawyers?
I would.
What would you say to them?
I just ask them why. You have all the evidence, the DNA, you have everything. What's the holdup? You know, let's get the show over, you know? I don't understand the system here.
And so the wait continues and life goes on, which means staying busy, spending time with her grandkids,
Am I it now?
Yep.
and sharing with them memories of Nicole.
She was just a very loving person. She saw the good in everybody. She was a very trusting person, and I'm sure that, you know, she probably didn't think this person was a bad person because he worked for the church.
Who would have known?
Yeah, who would have known? So that's just the way she was. She just didn't think anybody would harm her, I'm sure.
We hope it comes to trial soon, where it's behind us someday. It's closure. Hopefully he'll be where he needs to be, whether it's in jail or in a death penalty. I mean, that's going to be up to the judge, I would imagine.
Now, aside from the jury trial scheduled for October 3rd, Matthew Burton is also scheduled to be in court in April for a proof-positive bail hearing. Burton's attorneys requested this hearing, which requires state prosecutors to show that there is enough evidence to continue to hold the 32-year-old in prison until the conclusion of his trial. But if the court finds that there isn't sufficient evidence to tie Burton to the first-degree murder, rape, kidnapping, and assault charges, he could be given the chance to post bond, essentially meaning that he could walk free for the next few months until his trial determines if he is in fact guilty or innocent. And we have both parts of this special report with the Reisers on our website. That's 47abc.com. There you can also find links to the 3-part special we did with the Bennett family last year.